Well, now it's time to head on out to the fairgrounds for an all-stakes pick five. If you watched our first segment, we went through the Lecomte. That's race number 12, so that's the last leg of this pick five sequence. Just a reminder for all of you out there, in a pick five, it's like a parlay. So we have 5 different races where we have to have the winner of each and every race. We can use a couple horses in each race. We can use as many as we want, but it costs us more money every time we do. So we want to make sure that we get a nice return on our investment. We usually keep things in the like $60 to $100, $120 range, because once you start spending more than that, you start losing what you're going to make back. So let's make some money right here, Alexa. We have an all stakes pick five to discuss. You're going to set the scene for us in race number 8, which is a mile and a 16th on the turf course.
Yes, I am, and we have 3 horses in this race, starting with the number 1, Cupid's Crush at 4-1 morning line odds, who's coming off quite successful last 6 months with 3 wins and 1 second in her 4 starts. Those 3 wins were all going long on the turf, and she posted faster speed figures than any of the other contenders in here have ever run. She came to Fairgrounds in November and cut back to a sprint. It was just too short of a distance for her. She was closing quickly in the stretch, but had to settle for second place. But her previous 3 wins, she was on the lead as the pace setter, and I think she'll be able to get a position up front tomorrow. And if you look at the pace projector, you can see that there's not a ton of early speed in here, so it should favor front runners like her.
She's stretching out from a sprint race too. She's going to be aggressive from the inside. A couple others that we're going to use along with the 1. The number 7, Austere. This is a horse who was very good at 2 and then was a little bit unlucky last year, had some trouble in a couple races, but came back in November and was extremely impressive. Could be a very fair price at 10-1. And then we have Ghostly Gal, the number 9, who tried a really tough group on a synthetic surface last time out, actually finished 3rd in that race, but had won 3 straight grass races prior to that. So in very nice form, we're going to use the 1, the 7, and the 9, so 3 deep, trying to get through race number 8. Let's shift on to race number 9. This one is the Silver Bullet Day. So this is for the 3-year-old fillies. And Alexa, there are some talented 3-year-old fillies in here. Why don't you start us off with some of the horses that you like?
Yeah, this one awards Oaks points. So just like, the male horses are on the Derby Trail, the female horses on the Derby Oaks Trail. So we're going to use Simply Joking at 3-1, the number 3. Just like the last race, this one should also favor front runners. And Timeform US does predict Simply Joking to be near the lead and stick around for the win. She's only been out once before, but it was in a stakes at Fairgrounds a month ago, going a short distance, and she won with very impressive speed figure for her first time out. She's adding a few furlongs tomorrow, so we'll have to see how she handles the distance, but has been working well, and I wouldn't be surprised to see an improvement this second time out. We'll also use the 6, Goal's Delight at 8-1 odds. Similarly to Simply Joking, has been out once at Fairgrounds and won impressively. The race she won was a lower class level than a stakes, but it was long distance on the dirt, so we can be confident that the distance shouldn't be an issue for her at all. Her trainer, Kenny McPeak, like I talked about in the first segment, did win the Oaks last year, so we also could be confident that he knows what it takes when he enters a contender on the Oaks Trail.
The number 1, Chasen, is actually a half-sibling to Idiomatic. Idiomatic was a champion a couple years back, won the Breeders' Cup Distaff, was one of the best horses in training over the last few years. So the number 1 has a really nice pedigree, has the bloodlines to be a very good horse. And the number 2, Golden Gamble, was so impressive when she broke her maiden, when she won her first career race back in November, and then she finished 2nd last time out. I wouldn't be shocked to see them sitting a little closer with her in this race early on. She's super talented. So we're going to end up using 4 horses to try to make it through race number 9. We're going to use the 1, 2, the 3, and the 6. And then, Alexa, it'll all come down in the 10th race, the Colonel Bradley to our single. You and I, the way we were handicapping this race, we both had the 7, Gigante, as our top pick. And then after the 7, there were like 6 other horses that we had in the next tier. So it was either we're going to single Gigante or we're going to go like 7 or 8 deep in this race. So we end up singling Gigante, who's just in really nice form. He's a great fit in a spot like this. He loves Fairgrounds. He's not quite at the grade 1 type level. He's like a little below that as a grade 2, grade 3 type of horse. So a listed stakes race like this is perfect for him. It's all going to come down in race number 10 to the single of the 7, Gigante. So fingers crossed, if we can make it through our single, we'll have some nice coverage moving on to race number 11. So Alexa, start us out in race number 11. I think you like the 5 in there a little bit, right?
Yep, it's the grade 3 Louisiana Stakes going a mile and a 16th on the dirt, so another long race. And I like the 5 Skinner at 9-2 odds. He's hit the board in 8 out of 12 starts and most recently won the grade 3 Native Diver Stakes at Del Mar in November. This will be his first out with new trainer Cherie DeVoe, who does astoundingly well at fairgrounds, a 31% win rate. I mean, that is wild. So Skinner actually had an invitation to the Pegasus World Cup next week, but passed for this spot, which is just a considerably easier place for him to win. We'll also use the number 8 Track Phantom, who may ring a bell if you tuned into the Derby last year. There was quite a bit of buzz about him. He made the lead and then faded to 11th in the Derby. He's the winner of last year's Lecomte Stakes that we just reviewed, which was his most recent win. So he's been running strong figures the last few months, though. Should be a pace setter in this race and hopefully can retain that lead and not fade like he's done in some of his more recent starts.
So what's nice is we have one of the big speeds with Track Phantom, and if Track Phantom gets softened up and maybe has to duel with some others, we have horses like Skinner, the 5, who you mentioned, who's going to be coming from way out of it, and then Hit Show is probably the horse to beat from the rail. He's just been really solid and consistent at these levels. He's going to save some ground. He was third in behind Rattle and Roll in the Clark last time out, but he is a multiple graded stakes winner. And yeah, it just is a great spot for Hit Show. Alexa, why don't you remind everyone who we're going to use in the Lecomte? We just did the horse by horse preview there.
Yeah, we landed on using 4 in the pick 5 ticket, starting with the 1 Innovator at 10-1 for the GOAT, the coach. Trainer Dwayne Lucas, they spent $900,000 on this horse, so they're going to ask him to prove that he's worth it. The number 7 Calling Card, Gino's and my top pick. The number 10 Moat Better Than Good, a 20-1 long shot, and the number 13 Built Morning Line favorite.
Altogether, the ticket adds up to $72, and we build it around that single in race number 10. The number 7 is our single on the pick 5 ticket. So it's $72. We wish you the best of luck playing this pick 5. When we return from our quick break, we're going to talk all about Pegasus Day next week. We're going to look into the Kentucky Derby point standings. Don't go anywhere.